Hello and welcome to another edition of Trust TV's Inside Abuja. I am Maryam Idris, your host. So today, we're going to be taking a closer look at Ketti village. We will be exploring its people, its rich culture, its vibrant markets, and its community development initiatives that are shaping the life of its residents. Come with us. Ketti village, a predominantly Gbagi community nestled in the outskirts of Abuja city center, is a shining testament to the region's rich cultural heritage. This fast developing village is home to the Gbagi people, one of Nigeria's indigenous tribes, who have remarkably preserved their traditions and customs despite the encroaching urbanization. With its winding streets and vibrant traditions, Ketti is a fascinating blend of old and new, where ancestral practices meet modern development, creating a unique and captivating cultural landscape. The Sarkinyaki, a respected elder and historian of the Gbagi people, shares with us the story of how Ketti came to be and its cultural significance.
Well, by the nature of how I was brought up in this community, and through my parents, my ancestors that were brought up here too, Ketti has been an ancient community in the FCT. It was here before the Federal Capital Territory in so many decades. Ketti has been in so many decades here because Ketti was initially under Niger State, which is under the Silesia Emirate, down to Jua Chiefdom. Before now that we are now in Garki Chiefdom, that was before 1976, when Abuja, the head of state, Murtala, that brought the idea that we should bring in the federal capital into our community, in our domain. So Ketti has been a community that everybody loved it because so many communities were surrounded that were coming into this community. Because Ketti has been over, I can say by age of me now, I'm almost close to 50 years, which I can say that I know about the Ketti community rather. Because starting my education background is from Ketti here. Ketti Primary School started in 1969, which initially our parents were schooling in Gariki, right from Karu down to Gariki. Then they now look at the Ketti as a second community before now the Gariki. So Ketti has been a community that when we're in Silesia Emirate down to here in Abuja where we are under Kuje Area Council, both Gariki down to Abaji, Kuali, Yaba, and all the rest. Because initially in FCT we are having about 8 development areas, which will still have like Kuali, Abaji, Karishi, Ribochi, Yaba, Gwagwalada, and the Mbari Area Council, which they are being merged now, which will have our 6th area council. But we Ketti were under Kuje Area Council. But now we are now Abuja Municipal Area Council because of the development of the Federal Capital Territory. So Ketti is an ancient town. When our parents were paying their tax, that is what we call it Godu in Hausa. You understand? That's the tax. We were paying under the Jua Chiefdom, that Jua Emirate. Then when it was the Silesia Emirate, before they were not carved us to as a FCT. So Ketti, I can say that when you count Gariki, I can say that by vector, Ketti is the next to Gariki in terms of the ancient communities in FCT, especially in Abuja. Well, there are 2 things that are involved in the Sarkinyaki. As we have said, as an emirate or as a traditional house like this, the Sarkinyaki will always be in the work front to see that, number 1, the community is secure. Then number 2, the development that is coming into the community is channeled by the Sarkinyaki. You understand? So when we talk about the culture or the traditional culture that we have, like I can say that in the Gbagi culture, we have what we call Adaria, Amama, Kaka, Jibaje, You understand? These are the cultures that bring people together. Like the period of the Jibaje always be in the period towards the December. That Jibaje, that when our people have harvested our crop, especially like guinea corn, then we now gather together just like celebration on the end of the year. To bring people together, they will celebrate. All these things we call them Ajiba. You understand? So those things, even Adaria, it always takes place in between the August, September. That's when Adaria used to, they will go around the community where they say all these bad people that have different evil things, then they will chase them out of the community. That was their functions. Then when we talk of the function of the Sekiaki, as you actually ask that, okay, what are the roads? In the Sekiaki, in terms of the palace, anything that is just like in the interpretation, that is the chief defense. I'm to defend the chief of this community. In terms of security, like as the chief was saying that we are facing the challenge of the kidnapper about starting 2019. That's when we experienced such event that the kidnapper was coming around power in our community day by day. They kidnapping our people. We pay ransom. The government, well, they tried their best, but through that we were able to get the police outpost here, because the Kabusa cannot come in, despite there was no good road then. But we have to get the outpost here. Then with some other security agents like vigilante, hunters, and the JTF, they were able to come into this community to see that our community is being secure. So by the special grace of God today, because when the kidnapping activity was taking place in this community was almost scattered, because the community, those the visitors, the residents that were here, they have to pack up on the community. But thank God today with the chief that we have today in our community, because then, before him as a chief, there was a chief that was kidnapped, and he died in the kidnapping den. It was serious to say that. He died there, he didn't come back. Before he was now ordained as a chief, he now took over from him. But as the regime now, since he resumed as a chief of this community, we have never faced those challenges again. Nobody has come to our community say the community has kidnapped somebody. No. Neither it happens in nobody villages or nobody community, but here in our community, I can say we thank God to that because of her effort that he put on to see that this community is being secure. Together with us, by the grace of God, Ketti is being safe today in terms of security. Well, Ketti, as you know, as I was brought up through my parents, Ketti was a kind of community that, in terms of market activities, we were having Ketti activities was for 4 days. When after the Gerki market, the next day was to Ketti. Then after Ketti, then you will now go to Karimo. Before day and all the rest. These are the activities of the market. Then Kuje, it was for 4-day activities. So later on, because the Ketti was like a kind of place like the food basket of the nation. Let me just food basket of Abuja. Everybody, when Abuja started it, every Wednesday, people will come to this market and buy food stuff. Like we have corn, we have guinea corn, we have banana, we have yam, all these things. But by virtue of the Gbaji people, what we like most, our people know that we are good to eat of jepo, eje, you understand? Jepo, you understand? Which is made by the guinea corn, or corn itself, you understand? We use all these things. These are the things that even come to the Gbaji culture, if they want to welcome you to give you food, that's the first thing that will give you. That's what called jepo. That is made by corn. They'll give you jepo, then you drink it. That tuwo, when you drink it, our people will believe that when you take that tuwo with kandoro and akunya, all this got the egg, even you have the stomach pain, you will not feel that stomach pain again. Because that tuwo is being made with potash. That's as a chemical to use it to preserve it. So we found out that our people, you can cook that tuwo, you keep it even in a week, nothing will happen to it. Once you cook it, you put that potash, then the next day just cook it and wash it and keep it. Then once you drink it, you're okay. So our mostly culture is jepo in terms of food stuff. So Ketti here, I can say even up to today, is still food basket of Amak. Let me just put it that way. Not a FCT rather, but it's Amak. Because people came for all the way. If you go to market now, today is the market day. Initially it was for 4 days, but because of the result of there was a disease that was affected our people then, we call it plosi, kutare, kuturuta. So because of the result of that, they have to make it. It was every Wednesday. They used to come and receive that medicine. Because of that, so that very time, they will now say that people were coming to that market most on that Wednesday. So instead of making 4 day, they now fix that Wednesday as a market day. Now, even up today, we still call it in our Agbaye, we call it Kutare. You understand? Because of that Kutare day, that people will come around and the market will full and collect their drugs, and then they will buy their things and they'll go back to their homes.
The chief of Ketti, also called the Takachi, is the custodian of Ketti's heritage, working tirelessly to preserve the community's customs and way of life. But his role goes beyond tradition. He is also a champion of development, striving to bring progress and prosperity to his people.
My roles are, as soon as I'm the certain chief of the community, any issues that come, it will report to my palace, and I will call the elders, the palace elders. We will sit and bring out things that has arisen. Then we will handle the issue. If there is the one that I will not be on my high seat, then I will call maybe the mandati of the palace or the Sadikinyaki or the chief farmer to the palace, based on how the case come into the palace. Then we sit and iron everything. Because can I say past year we were not having a access road, and that was kidnappers was having access, taking advantage to us. Anytime they came to the community like this, they would pick 1 or 2 persons back to their kidnappers' den. So we were crying here and there, calling police from Kabusa Division, Gariki Division, Piakasa Division. So all what they could say to us, they said there is no good road because they cannot come to Ketti in the midnight. They don't know if they can ambush them. So when we cried to government, so soon when the Mr. Wike, the FCT minister, heard about what we are suffering for, he has to give the contract to Ketti Road. And today we have a good access road to Ketti that makes everything look nice in Ketti now. We're just getting that advantage because there was no good road. But for now, if anything happened to Ketti community now, the presidency can report to Ketti, Kabusa Division can report, Gariki Division can come into Ketti. So we are safe now.
The chief of Ketti's words paints a vivid picture of a community facing numerous challenges, yet unbroken and resolute. Ketti community grapples with the menace of Fulani herdsmen, who often graze their cattle on the community's farmlands, causing destruction and disrupting the lives of the villagers. Moreover, the community's primary health care center is in deplorable state, forcing residents to seek medical attention outside Ketti, often at great inconvenience and cost.
Yeah, where we have the challenges, we're having a good hospital, but now we don't have a hospital now because the one that we have now, it has totally damaged. Because our people suffering from here, if there is any patient present in the community, we have to report here to Piakasa or Kabusa. We wrote a letter to Amak chairman, even FCD, to come and repair the hospital. They have not answered us. So that is our challenge for now. And mostly you see this community is a peaceful community that loves every person that comes in. But what we are facing now in Ketti community, you see all these Fulani, when they entered a person's farm, they destroy all the crops. That is the challenge that we are facing right now. Every day by day, they are bringing report to the palace that Fulani are destroying people's crops. So that is the major problem we are suffering for now. So by the special grace of God, I want to call their leader to sit down and bring things together so that we can see what is the initial problem, what makes them doing that every day by day. So that's the major problem that we are facing for now with Fulani.
As we wander through Ketti village, the warmth and hospitality of the people envelop us. We find ourselves in the midst of vibrant market, bustling with activity as locals buy and sell goods. The market is the heartbeat of Ketti, where community and commerce come to life. You will find everything from fresh produce to handicrafts, and of course, the aroma of traditional foods wafting through the air. Jope, a staple food in Ketti, is made from grains. It is a simple yet nutritious meal that is a favorite among the Gbagi people. The women of Ketti take great pride in preparing jope using techniques passed down through generations. The residents of Ketti village open up about their lives in this vibrant community, sharing the joys and struggles of calling Ketti home.
Sanu kobe yin sapa to ababe yin na ngodai shwe ama idamwa ibe ku kaya ilapai, that is garki na tafiya da kafa. Ba za mu dawo ba sai long vacation. Sani ilo ya ji ito ba an shwe wi ida jezalon ntugana abawo motpa. To ai jishiche ya fiyan izonzon laba ai damwa ai abo afọ akaya nu bagai ajinye ntigana alasulon ama ayaje tuntun baga afọ akaya ashigbena ba munu ofa yan chele awo nkona ama yeshi yare bwaji ata yiye kunlo na ba chiga yan ba kun abo aifi abi che ni makaranta. To yan nun ko gai a shingelo ibo babwa yawi ko ewi ko akwanu mbanu gai karalo itaje yueshilo majin ibe baye yabwa unu yansan zoko ibwa ko wala lo sanu yansan a asibiti bayan jilo a ga primary health center ta ma ta lolo abashi gbolon sai awa kayan kakan ga al'osi to ko zaiwa ya shinwa ma bi du agba yuenu zanlo ta yuyen afai ne atasile yuyen ta idamuanu no sosai.
So, good afternoon. My name is Enoch Ishako. I'm a Ketti community. For this Ketti community, I have some few things to say about of this Ketti community. Before, we are facing a challenge for this Ketti community. Actually, we know they sleep before because of all these bandits. If you go farm, you go look back like this. Sometimes you go hear information. They saw them hanging at the bush. In the night, we know they sleep. But in now, we don't try our best. Before something will happen, just a 2 minutes, you will see police people don't come. Security everywhere. But the second challenge for this Fulani issue, if where you don't farm your farm, finish, they'll go and destroy the farm. You go buy chemical, you go buy fertilizer, and the strength where you go use for the farm, it will not get food to eat. We are suffering for that. Yes.
So, me belajin wire kun chwa gman en community in kwazanya medade meji sahe in piazza yi yejilo en community yi jaza gargadila ba teacher no meye jiye Ketti to kwa wakasa wan kwelele na bie nyale yiza nwo be yitiza na gbai water fulon Zazahi, Wajadua, Wajadua, or powerful, I will go Larba Eze, Fiajadua, powerful, you Bubaji, let to quote to Wobble, or one of Beji, Zatnabmai, Amahaye, you Wahala, Wateshi, meet the balance, I need lefilo. Te awabe yi dagmati gana wo be shun wo jabe manai wo be che she wo lemiti na ji wa be wo wi abo amen be shun wa sister teacher na mela so wo ka azaba be ba katnit no wan she kwa gaba awe ga manai nje she be watnit no yi be watnit no ya saba ya nya kun me har haje yito bwa tai makwo ge yi ya mi ya lukon ifugba jiji no teacher no shekuwa we ya ga she ba mi ya jin kwa badna yes ye godi ani be che shekwa ya ba.
Ketti community is a beacon of culture, tradition and resilience, shining bright despite the challenges they face. The people with their warm smiles and strong spirits are a testament to the power of community and heritage. Their story is a call to action, a poignant reminder that even the smallest community deserves attention, support and investment. Despite facing numerous hurdles, the people of Ketti refuse to be defined by their challenges. Instead, they are forging ahead, determined to preserve their rich cultural heritage and build a brighter future for generations.
And that's a wrap. We have come to the end of exploring Ketti village here in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. See you next time for another interesting edition of Inside Abuja. I am Maryam Idris. Bye for now.